and welcome. I'm your host, Arlo Cardilli, Head of Product at Alpharank. Welcome to our conversations around best practices for growth through the online branch. Today, I'm thrilled to have Shweta Haight, Manager, Digital Product Management of the Golden One, joining us. Welcome, Shweta.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Excited to have you too. So for those of you who are new to the series, Alpharank is a guidance system for the online branch. Alpharank keeps your activities pointed towards the most dollar output from the online branch, making it a heat-seeking missile relentlessly focused on balance sheet production. Any marketing activity you run, whether it's a targeted email, a postcard with a QR code, or a Google ad, will tell you exactly how many dollars you booked from that action, and most importantly, how to get more dollars per action. Our system is trained on over 3 billion first-party data points from over 100 participating banks and credit unions. And for this model, we give you 3 things: recommendations on how to, number 1, curb abandonment, number 2, improve lead quality, and number 3, maximize the dollar production. Visit us at alpharank.ai to learn more. So for everyone in the audience today, we want your participation. We want your questions. You're going to be in listen-only mode at first. Please submit your questions using the Zoom question and answer panel. When we get to that section, we'll unmute your line so you can ask the question live, if possible, and have a real interaction, or we'll just read it out for you. All participants will get a follow-up email from Alpharank containing links to the recording and other pertinent info from the discussion. So many in the industry wonder whether it's possible for credit unions to compete in the online space with the trillion-dollar mega banks, especially as credit unions are much more reliant on third-party technology vendors. So today, I invited Shweta because she has demonstrated that it can be done. Shweta, welcome again. So let me introduce you to the audience. You're the Manager, Digital Product Management at Golden One. Itself needs no introduction. It's one of the largest credit unions in California and also largest nationwide. Originally serving California state employees, but now anyone living in California can join the Golden One. So that puts you squarely in the arena with the Chases, the Wells Fargos, and the Capital Ones, to name a few. So Shweta, just tell us a little bit about yourself. Any fun facts you'd like to share?
Fun facts, huh? Well, dancing has been a passion for my life. I used to be a choreographer for about 10 years of my life.
Wow, really? That's amazing.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Comes in handy in digital project management because it's all about sort of choreographing people, right?
Yeah, and when you're having a bad day, just dance around. So when I had just started my job, I actually got an offer to be a judge on a dance show. But I said no because I had a 9 p.m. meeting and I didn't know at the time where you could move your meeting, skip your meeting. So I just declined that offer. I wonder what my life would have been if I had accepted that.
Amazing. The path not taken. But then you came to the credit union space. So tell us about that transition.
It was a happy surprise for me. I have worked in the financial services industry for my entire career. I started with asset management, moved to insurance, and then finally landed at a credit union. When I was working at California Earthquake Authority, an opportunity presented itself to support the IT strategy and innovation at Golden One. I loved the role, and so I took that opportunity and moved here. And while I was supporting that, another opportunity presented to directly contribute to the digital transformation of Golden One. And I took that opportunity, and here I am.
Wonderful. And just to round out a little bit about you, what is your favorite hobby?
Favorite? Well, I like playing Sudoku.
That comes in super handy too in the corporate world, right? Because you're always trying to juggle the rows and the columns and the squares to make it all fit.
Yep. I like reading, dancing, sketching, painting. I absolutely love talking to people, learning about different cultures, thought process, perspectives, historical references. I find it fascinating. And favorite is just whatever I'm in the mood for.
Well, that makes you just perfect for this role. So Golden One, 20 billion in assets, but only 63 branches. So that really underscores how important the online branch is in being the primary growth engine for the credit union. So tell us a little bit about the digital strategy at the Golden One and how it came to be that you got the task to improve the online experience, especially from this growth perspective. Let's get more members into the credit union.
Sure. For Gordon One, our goal is simple. We want to be the best digital credit union in California. We have a cohesive digital strategy for our organization. We are transforming our culture to think digital in everything we do. And as far as digital services is concerned, we have two verticals. One is internal digitalization, where we are focusing on our internal services, operations, and then bringing enhancements and automation as much as we can do there. And the other vertical is external and member facing, where we are striving towards providing best in class digital channels to our members and offering more self-service capabilities. I support the member facing external transformation. Now, as for how I started looking at our account opening, I started as a product owner for flagship products. And at the time I was looking at our member onboarding experience. We did an extensive research of our member onboarding and online account opening experience, and we identified several improvement areas. We also partnered with Alpharank to do a database analysis to identify the biggest pain points and exactly what are the areas to be fixed. And then we combined these two efforts to come up with a plan of attack. And then we started with the areas that has largest impact on our members and prospects, and then worked our way down from there. We did quite well. We're still working on it.
Yeah. It is a process. In fact, it's one of the recurring themes of this series of webinars is the importance of these sustained small incremental gains. So working together, you guided your team to consistently improve the online application, and you got that sequence. I think it averaged out to about 6% per month. When we scheduled this podcast, the improvement was right around 70% over 9 months, and the gains have continued to come. Actually, if I look at the January data, you're closer to 80% now, so it just keeps on going. So for the folks out there, small incremental gains, a little bit, 5-6% every month, and before you know it, you've doubled productivity as you roll into the next year. But before we get into the how you did it, tell us a little bit about the organization, because it's a bigger than average credit union and how your role is structured.
Sure. So as I mentioned before, I am the manager of digital product management team at Gordon One, which means we manage the feature sets, functionality, operations, roadmap, and user journey for member-facing digital platforms that we offer, such as online banking, mobile app, live chat, website, etc. For these platforms, my team drive digital transformation. We are closely integrated with the UI UX team and analytics team, and we work quite extensively with pretty much all line of business across the credit union, whether it's lending, product, member experience, IT, legal and compliance, and so on.
I think that underscores the importance of the incremental approach and your role in rallying together these various functional areas to work collaboratively, because it requires all the pieces that you mentioned to be able to curb abandonment and then optimize quality. So tell us a little bit about what it was getting these folks in a room and getting them to agree to make these changes to the journey.
Well, numbers talk quite loud if they're allowed to speak.
That's right. We got to give numbers a voice.
Yep. So before Alpharank, we didn't really have a very good funnel data. We knew that our online account opening process is not great, but we didn't know exactly what's needed to be fixed, exactly where is the problem. We have our thoughts and own, opinions about what needed to be changed, but that can be subjective. Once we partnered with Alpharank, we were able to see the data and trends every month, and that helped us realize what are the biggest pain points, which part of the process is causing confusion. And then we used that as a foundation for further journey mapping studies of our account opening process. And then we identified the areas of enhancements or areas of improvement, which will have the largest impact to our members. And then we started from there and worked our way down.
So tell us a little bit about the stack. So all the pieces of the puzzle that you had to get to work collaboratively and cross-functionally to make this work, from your internal team to all the other external pieces.
Sure. Well, I'm part of the digital services team. Our website is built on Sitecore. We use Meridian Link application portal for point of sale and Meridian Link Express account and LoanSpeak Q for account opening and LOS. we use Questus as our marketing agency, and Questus provide us second set of eyes to our design work, and then provide suggestions if needed. And then we use Alpharank for data analytics on our application. And since we started using Alpharank, it actually gave us an opportunity to look at the data and trends, identify the areas of improvement. And not only that, once we've used that to make a decision for what to change, we can come back to the dashboard and then see whether that change actually made a difference or not. We couldn't have been able to make these decisions with certainty without Alpharank, for sure.
Well, thank you. It's fantastic working with your team and actually seeing the numbers go up and away to the right. Now, obviously, the performance improvement comes from driving effective change, but change can be painful. So tell us about the challenges that you faced internally in making these changes and driving them to fruition.
Once we completed the journey mapping and the data analytics review, and we identified what needs to be worked on, the biggest challenge was to align all the business units to commit resources in getting it done. Now, I wouldn't say it was a great challenge because everybody at Golden One is committed to improving member experience, but getting resources can be challenging sometimes.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, people can talk the talk, but you walk the walk. So, gotta give you a lot of credit for that. What was it like getting compliance on board?
So I wouldn't say compliance was extremely easy.
It never is. It never is.
One of the challenges, but hey, you got to understand, they are not there to make our lives difficult, right? They are making sure that we remain compliant. And we explained it to them that we are trying to strike a good balance between providing an ideal member experience and being compliant. And once they understood our approach, it wasn't that difficult to bring them on board.
What about getting IT to make a few changes and a few point and click configurations in the back?
So I have heard that it could be difficult, but at least in my situation, we had a brilliant IT resource who knew how to make these changes, who understood MeridianLink platform. And because we have such a big drive towards being the best digital credit union, we do have IT support in making it happen. And so that wasn't extremely challenging.
Fantastic. So now that you can sort of look back over the past year, what would be the one thing that you found most surprising about this whole process in hindsight?
Most surprising is that we could have made all these changes all along. We just did not have the data that could tell us that this is the problem, fix it.
Yeah, ain't that the truth? So you mentioned that these changes were not difficult, and then they're in plain sight all along. Can you I want to double click on that, and because I'm sure there's some folks out there who are thinking the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we saw the data and we saw the visual patterns, it was relatively easier to make a decision for what change, for what are the biggest pain points and what changes to introduce. And I would use an example. We were looking at our entire online application journey, and we noticed around, 7 to 8% drop off on the product selection. And we saw that every month, which means it's a pattern. There is a problem there. So Carlo, we worked with you, and you were able to tell us that, okay, yeah, it is a problem. And if you can automate the product selection process, then you would see some improvement there. And that automation was feasible in MeridianLink. And we had the IT resource who also knew how to do it. And so we were able to configure that automation, and then we saw an improvement at the product selection step. And so to me, the change itself was not that difficult, but to get to that point and then having the data to help us make that decision easier was the challenge. The change was easy.
Fantastic. Thank you. At this point, Josh, could we open up the Q&A and let's see what the participants are interested in asking?
Sure thing. So the first question is about compliance, saying that you mentioned about getting compliance on board. Was there anything, that you could do in addition, trying to remove unnecessary verbiage, make the page less of an eye chart? What worked for you?
So just as I mentioned before, I wouldn't say compliance was easy, but it was one of the challenges. But our goal was to strike a good balance between good member experience and being compliant. And one of the examples I would use was in our online account opening, we offer certain services, and we had a drop off on the page where we were offering those additional services with the deposit products. And the drop off was largely due to long verbiage, a lot of, it was verbosity. And so we worked with our member experience team. We reworded the verbiage, we shortened the sentences, we cleaned up the look, we introduced some links where it made sense. And then we worked with compliance and then explained to them what we're trying to do. Once compliance was able to understand our approach, they could see that we remained compliant. And while improving member experience, it was not that difficult to get their alignment. Having said that, I would say that there were a few enhancements that we could not make because compliance was not on board. And that's okay. That's part of the process. We accepted it, and then we moved on to the next item.
Great. Another question that came in is this credit union is finding that they're attracting a lot of prospects with a low qualified score, and they're ending up declining them. Has your experience been similar, and any suggestions on what to do?
Yes, we have had similar experiences, and we performed a separate analysis for our decisioning process. Now, Qualified has multiple scoring parameters depending on your risk appetite. So for every credit union who's looking at Qualified score for their decisioning, they need to understand what's their risk appetite. What are the type of risks they're most interested in? And they should look at the Qualified risk parameters to see which one works for us. And then does this really mitigate the risk we're looking for?
Yeah, I think I'll add on to that, Shweta, is that it's important for a credit union to
That's
have
one
a,
piece of it.
yeah.
It's to look at your account opening content. I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah. And in addition to that, I think it's important to have a sort of varied product portfolio because not every deposit product is right for every qualifier. So if you find that certain campaigns are bringing in low qualifiers, you put them into like a low risk account. So maybe a kind of credit builder, secure type account. While if they have excellent qualifier scores, then these are perfect prospect for a high yield checking account or a CD. So different segments of the population should be getting different kinds of offers, and you want to really match the product being offered to the quality of the prospect. I mean, that's the other key to success.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. And
did you lose me while I was talking?
we lost you temporarily, but you're now back. So it's
Sorry
all
about
good.
that.
It's all good. Josh, we have a couple live questions. So if we can, Hersey, I hope I pronounced that correctly, but that question needs a little bit refinement. So if we can unmute their line and
Sure thing.
see if they can.
You should be good to speak. Let me know if you are able to speak at the moment, Hersey. Oh, I'll unmute your line. Try it once more. Apologize for the delay. Here we go. Okay, Hersey, you should be able to talk now.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yep.
we can. Welcome. By the way,
All right, thank you.
do we pronounce your name correctly?
You were spot on.
Wonderful.
So you mentioned that in the application process, there was about, say, 6 to 8% that dropped right around product selection. And so with the help of IT and leveraging Marion Link, you were able to automate the product selection piece. What do you mean by automated the product selection piece? And that's where I was a little bit more.
Oh, sure.
Intrigued.
So previously, when users go to our website and they start the application process, they had to select the regular savings account, which is our product for membership, and then they had to select the product that they wanted to apply for. Now, if you're going to our website and you're not a member yet, in order to be a member, you have to always have the regular savings product. You have to always select the regular savings product. So what we did is we automatically selected that product. And in the journey where you haven't selected your product before, the only thing that was automatically selected for you was regular savings product. But in the journey where you are coming from a product page and you have selected your
Sorry, I
product,
think I
they
lost
come into the
I think I lost
box.
it.
And so that's, oh gosh, did you lose me again?
Just
Yeah,
temporarily. So to summarize, Hersey, the point is that by the time somebody gets into the account opening application, they've already told you what they want. So they may have gone to, like a high yield checking account or a CD page, and now they click, yeah, join, and I want this product. So when you send them into MeridianLink, you want to pass that information to MeridianLink, so MeridianLink instantiates itself and says, okay, well, what do they want? They want the high yield checking. And by the way, I need to memorize them. So as well as asking them the qualification questions, are you going to put this thing in the basket? Because I know they need to have it in order to check out. And you're trying to get as close as you can to like a one-click experience.
Perfect. And how does Alpharank helps with that? Because I know that go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's it.
Shweta, you as a practitioner, you're qualified to speak to that.
Yeah, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
I'm really sorry. My
Yes.
Wi-Fi chose today to act up. But anyway, so how was Alpharank able to help? Up until we had Alpharank, we did not have this funnel data. So we could see how many visitors we have on the website, but what's happening within the MeridianLink online application was a black box. Once we had Alpharank, we started seeing field by field how many people open the application, how many people go to this field, how many people drop from this field. And we were able to see the data we had sent the historical data to Alpharank as well. And we were able to see it every month. These many visitors are starting the application, and then these many people are dropping at this field. These many people are dropping at this field. And we were able to see that drop every month at product selection. And then there's more, but this was the first thing where we were seeing that drop. And so because we were seeing it every month, we were confident in saying that this is a problem, it's a pattern.
Perfect. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Hersey. Appreciate your question. Have a great day. Thanks for joining.
You too.
Awesome. Next is Samantha. And she asks, how many departments participated in discussing the changes? How many levels of approval did your changes have to go through?
Okay. So this was a cross collaboration. We worked with pretty much all line of business except for HR maybe. So we worked with lending team, we worked with retail, we worked with contact center to make sure that frontline staff is trained on the changes we're making. We wanted to make sure that product understand the changes we're making on the product. Obviously, digital services, I'm part of it. And then we went through IT to make sure the changes we're making is not breaking anything else. And we worked with legal and compliance to make sure, compliance. And we work with member experience to ensure ideal experience. We work with all of these teams. As far as level of approval was concerned, this is directly helping with digital application experience. Just like I said before, once we saw the data and pattern, it was not that difficult to align all these different line of business. Everybody had already agreed to it. And it was just a point of getting an approval in an email, which we sent one and we got the approvals from the senior leaders and they were on board. And we had the approval for every change we were introducing. And it wasn't that challenging, especially because of data.
Fantastic. Thank you, Shweta.
Awesome.
Then we have, well, there's more. They're just raining in. So Josh, let's.
Yeah, sure. Michael Kors raised his hand. So Michael, I will allow you to talk. He seems to have a question about how you guys utilize MeridianLink.
Uh,
Hi, Michael.
Can you hear can you hear me? I don't know if my audio is on.
yes.
Michael, you are live. Thank you for joining.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, I'm gonna take this opportunity because I may have multiple questions.
Go ahead.
let's-
Take your time.
I'm gonna be a little bit selfish right now. I'm just so
Go
excited.
for it.
Thank you again for really hosting this call. So I joined a few minutes late, so I don't know, Shweta, if you covered this earlier, but is Golden One uses the native Meridian Link digital application, online application platform, or did you create your own and then just use Meridian Link's API to push the application over to Meridian Link?
No, we use Meridian Link native application portal.
Okay. So the second part to my question is that 70% lift that is that a combination of workflow enhancements? I think you mentioned earlier just being able to make that. And did you use like a separate third-party KYC AML fraud solution integrated with Meridian Link so that 70% volume increase are good applications and not just volume? Because I'm sure you are also inundated with a lot of invalid application requests, right? So I'm 100% sure of that. And so the 70% lift, is that 70% lift in good applications or 70% lift overall?
That's a very good question, Michael. I agree. We do always have to think about application submission, decisioning, and then funding, right? 70% lift was an application submission, and that's done from application portal. Now it goes to Express account, which is connected to all these KYC AML you're talking about. For that, as I was mentioning before, we did a separate analysis to look at our decision engine, our decision parameters, and then we made changes there, different changes to have a lift there. But this 70% is only application submission.
Right. But and it did translate in a 1-for-1 increase, Michael, in the applications approved and the applications funded. Think about it from this perspective. You bring, the horse to water. So you brought all these prospects to your website. The ones that are most likely to drop out are the real people, the people that you want. The fraudsters, they're not going to be put off by a bad process. They want to get to a completed application because they're trying to cheat you. So those are not the folks that you want to worry about. The abandonment that you see in the application funnel is precisely the people that you want to keep. They're the humans who are impatient, the humans who get frustrated, the humans that drop out and say, well, I'll just keep my account with Wells Fargo. I can't be bothered.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so important to fix the funnel, because it's the people that abandon that are the ones you want to keep.
Absolutely. I definitely agree with you, Carlo. So just to clarify my understanding, the 70% lift is on completed applications.
Mm-hmm.
On submitted application.
So
Yes.
there's a difference between submitted and, so when you say submitted, they completed the process, basically, regardless if
Yes,
they're
they
going to be
completed the
approved or not.
process.
Okay. Thank you for that. And that's good. And that's primarily a lot of it you can associate with really making it more easier for the applicant to complete the process. And a lot of those are those changes that you made. And I don't know. Okay, well, like I said, I'm hogging the mic, so I'm going to listen to the other questions. Thank you very much for that. So
You're welcome.
Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Michael. Then we have a question from Alon Fader. I hope I got your name right. Alon is from the Best Credit Union in New Jersey. So can we unmute his
thing.
line?
Here you go, Alon.
Hi, everybody. Nice to meet you.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Welcome,
Okay.
Alon.
All right. So although we're the best credit union in New Jersey, we're also not a very large one. As stated, the Golden One CU has a large team and they can manage complex initiatives and data. So how would you address ROI, affordability, and the ability to implement initiatives for smaller CUs?
So I think that's a question more for me than for Shweta. So To take your
Yeah.
points and turn affordability, our pricing is based on total assets. So a credit union like yours would have it, much lower sort of subscription cost. In terms of the managing the complexity, actually, we find that the smaller the credit union, the faster it can move. There's just fewer people you have to talk to get buy-in. The thing is less compartmentalized. So I'll expect that it will move faster for you. And at the end of the day, it's a pretty simple game. Let's make the process smooth. Let's make those landing page kick ass. Let's make sure people can get through the application quickly. And then let's go configure the sources of traffic, whether it's email, QR codes, Google Ads, Meta, TikTok, or what have you, so that we get the best possible prospects into that funnel and get people you can say yes to, as opposed to the problems that Michael was talking about. It's like people that you really don't want to be having in your credit union. So if you'd like to ask a follow-up to that, Alon, you still have the line.
Okay. No, actually, that answered my question. I appreciate it.
Perfect. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
We have a interesting question. It's actually from Anonymous, but it's a good one. It says, where did you see the largest drop-offs?
Yeah, I'm going to need to go back to the graph to see where was the largest drop off. But the major ones off the top of my head I can remember was at product selection, at the services screen because of heavy verbiage. There was another big one at funding. And then another big one was employment information.
Wow. Ferocious memory like a steel trap. Nice job, Shweta. Josh, we have time for a few more before we have to wrap this up.
Sure thing. Roger Auger asks, how do you handle existing members that are on your website and want to open additional share?
Could you elaborate that question? What do you mean by handle?
Yeah, Roger, are you available for, let me see. I'm going to unmute your line, Roger, if that works for you. There you are.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. Thanks for taking my question. Yeah, I was just curious. We're toying around with how we handle existing members. Right now, we have it go to a separate landing page that asks them, are they currently a member or not? And we push them to our online banking if they are. I was just looking at your website and I didn't see that. So if a member's on there and they want to say open your money market account, do they just go through the regular Meridian Link application, have to fill out their information again, or just curious how you handle those?
So currently, you're right. If you go to our website, we don't necessarily show that pop-up. If you're an existing member, go here. If you're a new member, go there, which a lot of organizations do. We are thinking about it. Just where we want to make sure that user journey is good. We don't want to discourage our existing members if they don't have online banking or if they're not comfortable with online banking. We don't want to discourage them from going through the process. Once they go through the process, though, we ask this question: are you an existing member? And if they say that we are yes, I am an existing member, then we don't necessarily automatically add a regular savings account to them.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Great. Thank you, Roger. All right. We have a couple more questions. One from Anonymous. Let me see. Do you have ongoing funnel improvement progress? What kind of cadence do you use your improvement tests? And for example, once a month, do you hypothesize an improvement setup and test, then check the results the next month and come up with another hypothesis? I think in general, this person, and sorry, if you want to raise your hand, you're free to talk, but it seems like the question this person is asking is, how do you kind of make the improvements? What is the data that you reference? So this might be a question for Carlo as well.
I think it's, if we have, Shweta, I think this is an internal process question for the Golden One about, how you set up your informal A/B tests and how frequently you look at this. I know this data gets looked at a lot. Some people look at it weekly, some people look at it monthly, some people look at it quarterly, but because there's so many stakeholders that over the golden one. But why don't you tell us about your personal experience, Shweta?
Yeah, sure. So when we contracted with Alpharank, we uploaded the historical data. The data we use is Meridian Link data. So we made sure that we have historical data to see the trends, and then ongoing, we have weekly data going in. We have a weekly meeting with Alpharank where we are looking at the new member journey. We're reviewing the largest drop-off. We also have another weekly data to look at marketing analytics to see what kind of, how is our performance for other digital marketing that we're doing. And then looking at that data, we discuss, okay, what can we do? How can we improve it? What kind of enhancements we can bring in? And as we're talking through this, we have ideas. We know what are the biggest pain points. We have ideas for changes. Once we have those ideas, and I manage the digital product management team. So at least from digital sides, I can say, okay, these are the enhancements that make sense. Let's go with it. And then at that point, depending on the change we're making, I would know which teams are supposed to provide approval for this. And I have my own team who would then run these changes. They would work with IT, get the IT resource, make the change, do the testing, gather the sign-offs, make sure our frontline staff is trained for these changes we're introducing, and then we implement the change. That's our process. Does that
Thank
answer
you.
your question?
I think so. It was sent in from anonymous, so unless they want to say something else, we'll have to assume.
Anonymous can send us another message if that was not sufficient. We got two more, Josh.
So this first one is just sort of a continuation. Shweta, on yours is that do you require members to enter a driver's license?
We do. At this point. We do, however, application portal has this functionality that if they upload their driver's license, it automatically fill their data.
Great. And then this might be a question more for you, Carlo, but if the credit union doesn't have an LOS or core that is currently integrated with Alpharank, could you explain what integration steps are taken to make it work?
Certainly. So first of all, if the anonymous attendee could tell us what LOS or core they're thinking about, we can get into more details. We currently support close to 30 account opening and loan origination systems. So to give you a sense, obviously on the account opening side, not just MeridianLink, but FI Vision, IMSI, we support Q2, many others. Moving over to consumer lending, Credit Snap. Sorry, I forgot about the Temenos and Terrafina on the account opening side. So there's a ton there. So then moving over to mortgages, Mortgage Cadence, Mortgage Bot, Open Close, Blend. It's a long list. So love to talk details if you have details. In general, the process is very simple. We have developed a custom tag that can be deployed through Google Tag Manager, designed specifically for financial institutions. So it's privacy safe and doesn't grab any personal information, member information, non-public information. It's super sanitized. That takes just a few minutes to deploy through Google Tag Manager. And then we have a big data model on the back that interprets all the actions that are being sent by the stag, and then is able to construct these abandonment journeys and other analytics that drive the decision-making at the credit union or the financial institution. So that's the overarching process. Also, I see that Michael Carlos has raised his hand again, so he has
Sure
a follow-up
thing.
question.
Yeah, I'll allow him to talk as well. There you go, Michael.
So thank you for that. There was a question earlier by that anonymous caller, and Shweta, you answered it. Or the question was about kind of like the development cycle for changes that are happening, right? And so I heard from you that earlier that you're using the native Meridian Link digital onboarding system. But just wondering, does Golden One have developers that actually does the customizations for those? And then so your version is slightly different than what's the out-of-the-box Meridian Link digital application onboarding system is? I'm just curious.
Sure. Meridian Link onboarding, that's application portal. that doesn't necessarily allow a lot of customization by their clients, but they do have configuration capabilities. So if you
Okay.
use Lending Application Portal, you can have your IT admin resources who are trained on Application
Mhm,
Portal.
mhm.
They have the ability to configure, and most of the changes that we made were configuration.
Oh, okay. So that's the okay. Thank you so much. And just as a side note, I'm a little bit familiar, but we're using their API and we built our own. But we're consuming through that. That's why I'm just wondering how you're doing it. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Awesome. The questions keep coming in. You're very popular.
Seems like it.
So quick question from Ali asking, do you utilize single sign-on for your front-end website?
For which application? Online banking? No.
Ali, do you mind if I unmute your line? I'm going to allow Ali to ask the question. Mhm. Let me see.
Still mute, on mute.
Still
At
on
his
mute.
end.
Let me try. So there was 2 Alis in the list, both with the same name. So let me try the other one. See if either of these are. There we go.
Thank you so much for
Ali, Aki, how are you?
doing great. Thank you so much for the great webinar. I'm almost enjoying every single questions here. Kudos to Shweta for all the great presentation. I have a quick question here. Do you currently utilize the SSO for MeridianLink in the front end of your website, or do you just ask these questionnaires and based on the questionnaire, it goes to MeridianLink to fill out the form?
No, we use a MeridianLink native application, which is integrated within our website. How that integration, whether it's SSO or something else, I'm not really sure, but it is integrated with the website. We don't do a questionnaire separate. It's on MeridianLink application portal.
Oh, is
Yes.
this like something that we have to check with MeridianLink admin and to get that configuration, or do we have
So
to?
if you wanted to make the similar changes,
Yes.
if you're using application portal, you should most likely have an IT admin within your credit union who would have access to make these configuration. If you don't, then you can go to MeridianLink and then ask them if they can either make these changes for you or just train somebody, a resource at your end who can make these changes.
So, not to descend, we will descend into MeridianLink minutiae for just a second, simply because they have 80% of the market. So, Ali, SSO is part of the MeridianLink Plus package, which I happen to know that you have. So that is available to you, and we'll just get with you offline and
Sure.
give you more details on how to best leverage that, so that we know, and the data speaks very clearly that existing members that are fast forwarded into the application via SSO have a much higher likelihood of completing, simply because they don't have to fill out all the data and they feel like, hey, these people know me. So let's make the best
Sure.
use of that. So we'll get back to you on that one offline.
Thank you so much. And for the native application, so that's what we have to ask them. It's called the native MeridianLink application on the front end website.
Yeah, on the website, yes, we have to ask those questions. But if it was coming from online banking, they're authenticated. There we can pass on the data and they don't have to fill in these questions again.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Thank
And
you. Have a
we
wonderful
are-
day.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And we are at our final question from Anonymous, very popular Anonymous today. Do you book accounts to the core automatically, assuming they meet all of your requirements?
Yes, so MeridianLink has an automated account opening feature that we have on. So once the application is submitted, they go through the approval process. If the decision is auto approved, then we automatically open the account right away.
Yeah, so 2 important things, auto approval and auto bookings. For context, can you share with the audience what core you're on?
We are on DataSafe by Serve.
Old and creaky, but hey, if it works. Keep it.
That's for us.
That's right. Well, thank you all for all the questions. This has been tremendously entertaining. So, Shweta, time for closing comments. So I know you're loving your role at the Golden One, so you can't be recruited and pulled out. So in the spirit of sharing, what are your top 3 tips for the audience today?
You are right. I'm absolutely loving it here. The top 3, I would say, first and very important, or most important, is understand your member and their journey. The second would be to understand your coworkers, your stakeholders, learn to speak their language. And the third and extremely important aspect would be allow data to guide your priorities. Focus on issues with the greatest impact and then work your way down from there.
All right. Well, on behalf of the 50 plus attendees and all the folks who asked all those engaging questions, Shweta, from the bottom of my heart, I wanted to thank you for being able to get with us and share all the knowledge and experience you brought to bear. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
You too. Thank you, everyone. Bye.